What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of the Apple TV Plus original series, Dark Matter. This will follow the first episode, which is Are You Happy With Your Life?, which is directed by Jake Verbruggen. Okay, so here we are with a brand new review of a season of television, or this may be a limited series. I'm not entirely sure at this moment. We, of course, are going to be looking at the first episode of Dark Matter, which is based off the Blake Crouch book, a very popular book at this point. It's a series where, as far as I can tell, it deals with alternate universes. And once again, I have not read the book, so I apologize if I don't know offhand. But it is the first episode, so there's a lot of setup for what will come down later down the line. But the first episode is a pretty standard first episode. It's an episode that has to set up a lot of stuff. It's an episode that has to have the central mystery play out, and it's an episode that I really enjoyed, to be fairly honest. It's very simplified. It's very, unlike, Masters of the Air or Suspicion, it has its idea, but it's not something that you can not follow very well. It does a very nice job of contextualizing what the series is trying to do in about 46 minutes. So that was a nice pleasure to sit down and watch, because going into a series that you know nothing about, because I hadn't watched the trailers for this, I just like it because it's a series that has Joel Edgerton and Jennifer Connelly and Jimmy Simpson and Alice Braga and stuff like that. It piqued my radar. It piqued my interest to want to watch this series, and it's sci-fi, and it's hard sci-fi. So that's another thing that kind of had going towards something of interest towards me when it comes to that kind of stuff. I love Severance and stuff like that. I love when sci-fi just kind of goes there, and so this first episode introduces us to a character named Jason, who's played by Joel Edgerton, and his wife, who's played by Jennifer Connelly, and they seem like normal individuals. They have a kid who's played by Fegley, and they have a friend who's played by Jimmy Simpson, and he works for a business, a company, and one night he is invited to a bar by his friend who's played by Jimmy Simpson, and as soon as he leaves that bar, his friend offers him a job in San Francisco or whatever, and he's gonna have to talk to his wife about it. But as soon as he leaves the bar, he is basically attacked by a masked individual. Now, I'm assuming if you've read the book, you know who that masked individual is. And it also tells you kind of by the end of the episode, but it's really standard stuff. It's kind of like, what does this masked figure have any interest in Jason's character? What is his kind of overall plan? He drugs him, and then Jason wakes up in a place, a building. Think of something out of Fringe or something like that. And he is, we're introduced to David Okeniyi, and of course, Alice Braga's character, and they interview him, asking him, what it was like when he did whatever he did. At this point, you're not entirely sure what they're even inquiring about, but something's happened to Jason where he's in a place he doesn't recognize, and he has scars. He's been beaten up by that hooded or that masked figure. And I was, going, okay, so what exactly is the premise of this season or this episode? What exactly am I trying to coerce out of what they're trying to say? And it's not until, Jason leaves and he goes back to his house, and then the hooded masked figure pops up at his wife, where they live, and he pops up at what he thinks is his house, that we learn that there's another Jason. Now, that could mean anything at this point, alternate universes, time travel, who the hell knows at this point, but basically Jason... We'll call him Jason. I think if I read it right, it's Jason 2.0 or something like that, or Jason 2. Jason, the other Jason, knows a lot about this Jason's life, to be fairly honest. And then, of course, the Jason that we've known since the beginning of the episode goes to his house, and it's actually the house of, I don't know if it's his wife, his girlfriend, or what it is, but the character is played by Alice Braga. And he's so confused. His son's not there, and he tries whatever he tries to do. It's just everything is different. And then, of course, he is, taken back by the authorities that are involved with whatever this kind of world is. I mean, it could be like a time travel device or a teleporter. Maybe they're researching alternate universes. Who the hell knows at this point? But it really is an intriguing premise to be told, because it leaves a lot up in the air. We have 9 episodes to talk about with this series, but you're just all these things are kind of being spun into motion, and I think it's done perfectly. I think, Blake Crouch, who's adapting his own book, does a really nice job of giving us the ins and outs of who this guy is. I feel like I got enough of who this character was where you kind of feel like you're just with him. You're confused. You don't know what's going on. And it's the same thing with like, when the other Jason has sex with Daniela's character, you're like, oh my God, it's just like there's so much menace going on there. And it might be like a reversal of fortune or something like that. Maybe this Jason was with Daniela and this other Jason had memory loss. I mean, that's what makes this so interesting and so compelling in this first episode is you just don't know. I mean, most of it's really just set up to kind of continue the first episode or continue the season, but I really enjoyed it. I really did. I really think that Daniela and Ron or Jason have good chemistry. The Joel Edgerton and of course Jennifer Connelly. I think having Jimmi Simpson in there is always fun. He of course played the Man in Black, of course in Westworld. He's always a fun individual. He shows up in like It's Always Sunny and stuff like that. David Okeniyi, who is an individual I don't know much about, but he seems like he's gonna have a lot of fun with this series. And I think a lot of people might find this kind of underwhelming. I mean, it's fair. I didn't. I think it was very interesting. I'm interested to see where it'll go from here. And they're releasing 2 episodes, so you're going to get 2 reviews in the same day for this series on the first 2 episodes. But for the first episode, I'm going to give it a half out of 10. The only reason I don't go a little bit higher is because it is a little simple. I wanted to go a little bit harder, maybe give us a little more information. But for a first episode, what it's trying to do, I think 8.5 out of 10 is perfect. There are very few episodes of a first episode of series of that first episode that truly get above 9 and 10s. So I really enjoy this episode. It definitely needs some explaining to do, and I hope that does it throughout the entire series and doesn't become very convoluted and messy, which I'll be really disappointed by, and it has happened before. But for a first episode, 8.5 out of 10 is perfectly reasonable. I think it's perfectly well representative, and I think it really does a nice job of what it's trying to do. So, very short review. There wasn't really much else to talk about. Like I said, different universes, time travel, what is going on? Is it cloning technology? I don't know. We'll find out as the season goes on, hopefully. But with that said, 8.5 out of 10 for my review. But that'll do it. That'll be my take on the first episode of Dark Matter, which is Are You Happy in Your Life? Very complimentary of what the episode's trying to do. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. Comments below. What did you think of the first episode? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Is this something you're going to stick with? Let me know. I'm always interested to hear. So, and if you know like the whole story or if you read the book, please kind of keep it out. I kind of want to go, or if I see it, I'm probably not going to read it. So be aware of that. Just I want to know eventually what's going to happen if it's different from the book, but right now I just kind of want to go with the story. So anyways, without further ado, if you like what you see on the channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button, and as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.